Good, happy Monday evening, June 1st, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to Good Evening, New Hampshire. We have a lot of news to get to for this evening edition of Good Evening, New Hampshire, so it's time to sit back, relax, and wind down for the evening and enjoy some Good Evening, New Hampshire, where we have a little bit of everything for you in this program. But first, we're going to start with the news. We're going to start with your local news first. First up, latest DHHS data shows 39 new COVID-19 cases. No new deaths in New Hampshire. There are 4,685 known coronavirus cases in New Hampshire, officials say. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
State health officials are doing hundreds of tests per day, and right now they are focused on nursing homes. They say the virus is getting into long-term care facilities either by a new admission or through asymptomatic staff. The state increased its testing over the past few weeks to help stop the spread of the virus among patients and those caring for them. Now, if someone tests positive in a nursing home, residents and staff who have not tested positive are being tested again every 5 to 7 days. And those tests are finding many people are showing no symptoms at all.
We know that there's potentially a substantial portion of people that can have this virus and be transmitting it before they even show symptoms.
If there is one trend that we are definitely seeing is the amount of asymptomatic positive testing cases that we are finding both amongst long-term care and staff.
So far, roughly 74,000 people in New Hampshire have been tested for this virus. Reporting in Concord, Kristen Carosa, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. COVID-19 in New Hampshire, what you need to know information. Let's take a look at that right now. And here is a look at that information for you right now. There are 4,685 number of people in New Hampshire who have tested positive for COVID-19. 1,837,170 number of people in the United States who have tested positive. 245 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 456 number of people who have been hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And 195 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. Here is a look at a map of New Hampshire where current cases of COVID-19 are. Manchester, 434. And here is a look at a map of total cases of COVID-19 in New Hampshire. Manchester, 1183. Now let's take a look at these three charts here. Let's start with the first chart. New cases each day in New Hampshire in the purple, daily new positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, new hospitalizations, and in the red are the deaths. Let's take a look at this chart. Current cases in the purple, current COVID-19 cases, and in the orange, current hospitalizations. Let's take a look at this chart here. Total cases in the purple, total positive COVID-19 cases, and in the orange, total hospitalizations, in the red, deaths, and in the blue, recovered. Now let's take a look at this chart. Age group of cases, female and male of cases, risk information. Now let's take a look at this chart here. Race/ethnicity of cases, hospitalizations, deaths, percent of New Hampshire population. Any common symptoms: fever, lack of smell, cough, chills, and difficult breathing. How it spreads, and prevention tips. And be sure to stay with the Riley King Network for the latest of your COVID-19 information. And we're going to switch gears now. Let's go into national news. In your national news, President Trump vows to deploy U.S. military if states can't control violent protests. The latest updates on all the protests around the nation. President Trump vowed Monday to deploy the U.S. military to quell violence if governors could not get things under control. Trump recommended use of the National Guard to states. The Hennepin County Medical Examiner has ruled the death of George Floyd a homicide, according to documents released today. Minnesota governor announced the Minnesota Attorney General's office will be taking the lead on Derek's case, the officer seen pressing a knee on George Floyd's neck. Derek will make his first court appearance on June 8th. He's been charged with third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter. At least 40 cities across the U.S. imposed curfews. The National Guard has also been activated in 26 states and the District of Columbia. About 4,000 people have been arrested across the country since Tuesday for reasons ranging from alleged curfew violation to act of destruction. And we're going to switch gears now. Let's go into business news. And let's see how your U.S. stock markets closed for this Monday evening. And it's a look how your U.S. stock markets closed for this Monday evening. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in a green one up. Your Nasdaq closed in a green one up. S&P 500 closed in a green one up. Gold closed in a green one up. Oil closed in a green one up. U.S. 10-year closed flat. Euro/USD closed in a red one down. And VIX closed in a green one up. Stock features fell as investors assess economic reopening aimed civil unrest. Stock features fell in overnight trading on Monday as investors grappled the civil unrest around the country as states tried to reopen the economy from the coronavirus pandemic. And we're switching gears now. Let's go into weather. Your weather right now is mostly cloudy, 55 degrees. Your weather for tonight, a shower is possible early. A few clouds, low, 41 degrees, winds northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And we're going to switch gears now. Let's go into New Hampshire Life segment. In tonight's New Hampshire Life segment, owners of tourist railroads pitch plan to reopen. Passengers could be limited to New Hampshire residents at first. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Andy Hirschberger.
The tourist railroad industry in the state is proposing a four-phased approach to reopening its businesses, starting immediately.
COVID-19 could not have hit at a worse time. All seasonal operators try to open as soon as possible in the spring to stop the winter hemorrhaging of capital. Many of us signed contracts and made commitments to complete projects that can only occur in the summer months.
For the month of June, trains would run at 50% capacity and routes could be shortened to limit exposure. Arrangements could also be made for at-risk passengers to be segregated from the rest of the crowd.
Initially, we could also open the tourist trains to New Hampshire residents only, or provide separate coaches for New Hampshire residents and out-of-state residents.
Passengers would not be allowed to roam around the cars and would have to wear face masks if someone is seated less than 6 feet away. The task force also heard from the restaurant industry today. They want to now move to the second phase of reopening with bar seating and some indoor dining. saying outside dining only helps a little.
I hope the task force and the governor's office has an appreciation that this by no stretch is helping them pay their bills. It's a little better than only takeout delivery, but it's just a little bit better.
The task force is also expected to vote on several recommendations that include the opening of movie theaters later this week. Reporting live, Mandy Hirschberger, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And let's see what's new tonight on TV. At 8 o'clock p.m., Below the Deck Sailing Yacht. At 8 p.m. on Bravo. Beyond the Unknown, 8 p.m. on Travel Channel. Iconic, 8 p.m. on CW. Street Outlaws Memphis, 8 p.m. on Discovery. T.I. and Tiny Friends and Family Hustle, 8 p.m. on VH1. The Titan Games, 8 p.m. on NBC. WWE Monday Night Raw, 8 p.m. on US. And that is a look at what's on tonight. And if you want to see the rest of the list, we will share that with you on the Riley King Network Facebook page right after this broadcast. And we're switching gears now. Let's go into entertainment news. Tonight in entertainment news, Beyonce, Billie Eilish call for justice while celebs take to the streets to protest. Let's take a listen to that video from Entertainment Tonight.
We need justice for George Floyd. We all witnessed his murder in broad daylight. We're broken and we're disgusted. We cannot normalize this pain.
Beyonce, Billie Eilish, and more celebs speak out about the protest happening after the tragic death of George Floyd, a 46-year-old Minneapolis man who died after a police officer held him down by the neck with his knee for more than 7 minutes. Beyonce took to Instagram to call for action.
Yes, someone's been charged, but justice is far from being achieved. Please sign the petition and continue to pray for peace and compassion and healing for our country.
She pointed out that regardless of skin color, if you're white, black, brown, or anything in between, we all must stand up for each other in times of injustice.
No more senseless killings of human beings. No more seeing people of color as less than human. We can no longer look away.
Billie Eilish used her platform to slam the All Lives Matter movement that's used to invalidate the hashtag Black Lives Matter campaign. In the powerful post, she wrote, "This is not about you. Stop making everything about you. You are not in need. You are not in danger." She continued, "Society gives you privilege just for being white. You can be poor, you can be struggling, and still your skin color is giving you more privilege than you even realize." Then the singer raised the question, if all lives matter, why are black people killed for just being black? Other celebs took the streets to protest like J. Cole, Michael B. Jordan, Nick Cannon, and Machine Gun Kelly. In Los Angeles, Ariana Grande also marched, writing hours and miles of peaceful protesting yesterday that got little to no coverage. All throughout Beverly Hills and West Hollywood, we chanted, people beeped, and cheered along. We were passionate, we were loud, we were loving. Emily Ratajkowski held up a sign that says, "Dismantle power structures of oppression." Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Halsey, who was with Young Blood, was at the front line. But the singer's peaceful protest didn't stay peaceful for long. She wrote, "They opened fire of rubber bullets and tear gas multiple times on us. Citizens who were not provoking them." And even though Halsey was hit twice, she says she will be returning.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And thank you for watching this evening edition of Good Evening New Hampshire. Have a great rest of your Monday evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another edition of Good Evening New Hampshire. Good night and bye, everyone.